We are back now on the show to go over some more topics around the NFL and going back to yesterday's show, the last show we did part 1 of the game picks for all the games in the week 4 of the NFL, and now we have the remaining games, right? The remaining 7 games that I wanted to come on here and talk about and give my prediction on all of them. We have a couple of good ones here that I wanted to mention, so bringing it up right now for you guys to see. Starting in the top left-hand corner, obviously, of the screen, we look at the Jaguars and the Houston Texans, right? The Jaguars now traveling to Houston, the first divisional game for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and both teams coming off of losses, but the Jaguars obviously a bit more embarrassing, right? We don't have to talk about it anymore. 47-10 against the Buffalo Bills, and on the other hand, the Texans, a surprising loss because of the way that the Vikings sort of handled them and the potential that they have on offense. It was pretty surprising, if I'm being honest. I didn't think it was going to be that determining or that obvious that the Vikings really are a legitimate team in the NFL, but that's their last contest, right? The Jaguars still are trying to look for their first win, trying to find their identity on offense, really, because it's like the running game isn't really there with Travis Etienne. The passing game, the inconsistencies of Trevor Lawrence or the offensive line not giving him enough time. The weapons outside of Brian Thomas Jr., who is a rookie, right, and he's already probably their go-to guy when Evan Ingram is healthy, or whether or not he's healthy or not. That's not ideally what you want to see. So that's kind of like what the Jaguars are dealing with right now. And for the Texans, Houston is a good team. I truly believe that, but I just think there are some things that come with a young quarterback. I think Brian Flores and some of the Vikings players said afterwards that, Brian Flores going up against a young quarterback still in his second year, they haven't seen every single scheme or look that the that all defensive coordinators could throw at them. And I think that was a situation where this is a great learning experience for the Texans, and they're going to take that with them. But now this is more of a more favorable matchup for the Texans. I have them winning, obviously, because they're more talented. They have a better looking team at this point in the year. I think they know more so than not what kind of team they want to be and what kind of team they're set up to be, from their defense, from their offensive play calling as well. I like the security I see there. And also for the Jaguars, there's no Tyus Campbell again. Evan Ingram, I believe, is questionable or is most likely not going to play. Their starting linebacker, Eliakon, he is doubtful, so he's probably not going to play either. Devin Lloyd, also another linebacker of theirs, didn't practice yesterday. So it's just too much. It's too much to overcome, especially on the road. It's very unfortunate, but I think the Jaguars will still remain winless, and the Houston Texans will go to 3-1. Then moving down the line, there we got the Los Angeles Rams traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. Both teams are 1-2, but it's a very different 1-2 for both of them, right? Around the morale of each team, for what it means right now, because you look at the Rams, they just got an improbable win against the San Francisco 49ers. Both teams very injured. Who wanted it more in that game was what it was going to come down to, and the Rams showed a lot of fight, showed a lot of their offensive makeup, I think, with Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford leading that charge, with guys like Tutu Atwell, Demarcus Robinson. Kyron Williams had a fantastic game as well, but it's not Puka, it's not Cooper Kupp. They're your heavy hitters, right? They still won the game with a lot of their players being out against the 49ers too, who are obviously one of the better teams, whereas the Chicago Bears are coming off of another loss, a two-week losing streak now for the Bears. And the way Caleb's played, I kind of harped on it a little bit in the last segment. There's a lot that offense is dealing with, offensive line-wise, and just not figuring out yet for Caleb, and it's not really clicking yet on all cylinders, to be expected as a rookie. But they're back at home now. It looks like Keenan Allen will play, which will be a huge addition to just the struggling offense, right? I don't think they need to throw the ball anymore, but it's going to help in those times that he is throwing to have a guy like Keenan Allen, obviously. And, going into this matchup now, I don't like the fact that Chicago gave up 2 touchdowns and 110 rushing yards to Indianapolis last week, and the way Kyron Williams played this past week as well. I'm liking the Rams more and more. It was tough because the Chicago Bears do have a good defense. They only won their only game of the season when playing at home, but I don't like the trend that I'm seeing from Chicago, not running it enough and being susceptible against the run as well. So that's why I think, and I truly believe that the Rams will win. I think Kyron Williams is going to have another good game. And the Rams defense also proved to be pretty stubborn at times. When the big moments came, they made the stops against the 49ers. So I like the fact that they were able to do that. And I think Chicago still isn't there quite yet to kind of get over these struggles. So I'll have the Rams winning in this one. And also now, moving down the line, a very fascinating game here between the Commanders and the Arizona Cardinals. And I think none more fascinating than Cliff Kingsbury facing off against his former team. The former head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, now the offensive coordinator for the Commanders. It should be another offensive showdown because I think both teams' defenses aren't particularly where you'd like them to be at this point in the year. They haven't been dominant by any means. So the offenses, on the other hand, you're talking about Kyler, Marvin Harrison Jr., James Conner. I know Trey McBride was dealing with a concussion. I'm not sure if he's going to play, but still, those are 3 guys that are very talented, very capable of carrying this offense. And on the other side, Jaden Daniels just announced himself to the world. Terry McLaurin just had a nice day. Brian Robinson, I think, is getting a bit better with more experience going on. I feel like this is going to be a shootout of sorts here. And I feel like the Commanders are coming in here. They were heavy underdogs when I saw it this morning, and I don't really understand why. I know they're on the road, and maybe the level of offense isn't sustainable per se week to week, but I like what Jaden Daniels showed overall. Just when you have one of those guys, and I think Jaden is certainly one of those specially talented, gifted guys. It's hard to kind of bet against them, in my opinion. So I like Washington's offense. I know they're rolling right now, even without Austin Eckler. He's been ruled out with a concussion. They look great against Cincinnati. I'm going to go with Washington and the Commanders to keep this up. Jaden Daniels has another great game, and they're going to win and go to a resounding 3-1 in the NFC East. Would you have believed that to start the year? Probably not. Then you look at the other side now of your screen, the New England Patriots at the San Francisco 49ers. 2-game losing streaks for both of these teams. The Patriots are coming off of a long break where they thought long and hard about getting smacked around by the Jets, and San Francisco lost a game that they probably should have won. So bad taste in each of their mouths right now, but still, I think this is more so the New England team that we were all kind of thinking we would see this year, and I don't think New England has as big of plays, big time plays down the field that the Rams needed to win that game. I don't think the Patriots are really capable of doing that at this point. It's more methodical, more slow with them with the running game. But I'm pretty sure George Kittle's going to come back. He participated yesterday in practice, so San Francisco should have enough. They're back at home now after a 2-game road trip. I think going back home, Brock Purdy played well without most of his weapons. Give me the 49ers in this game to go back to 500. And then looking at the last 3 games here, the Browns are dealing with a lot of injuries, and so are the Raiders, right? I think my memory serves me right, Jedrick Wills isn't playing, Jack Conklin isn't playing, and there's one, David Njoku is not playing for the Cleveland Browns. 3 of their biggest players on offense aren't playing. And on the other side, Devontae Adams has been ruled out with a hamstring injury, and Max Crosby is also not playing with a ankle injury, I believe. So a lot of significant players not playing in this game. It kind of changes up what I had on here because I had Las Vegas barely winning, and now I'm really not sure who to go with. This might be the most random matchup between 2 teams that I have no idea what kind of version I'm going to see each and every Sunday. I think I'm still going to stick with my pick, the Raiders, just because I really don't like what the Browns have been showing me. with the offensive line already being banged up and now losing your 2 tackles like that, I don't think that's a recipe for success. So I'm still going to go with the Raiders. I think Brock Bowers, Gardner Minshew, Jacoby Myers, I think that should be enough to get the win in this game overall. Then the final 2 games here, the Chiefs traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. I'm going to go with the Chiefs here, mainly because the suspension of Derwin James, he shouldn't be suspended. It was pretty bogus of the NFL to suspend him for that hit, but it is what it is. He's not going to play. Also, their star rookie right tackle is also not going to play. Joe Alt, he's been ruled out with an ankle injury. And Justin Herbert, the injury around him, how's his ankle feeling? He didn't finish the game last week, so how healthy is he going to be? Not the recipe you need to take on the Chiefs for as many injuries as they have with Pacheco and I'm losing it now, Hollywood Brown and guys like that on offense. It's too much for the Chargers, especially because they are a run-heavy team, built up on defense as well. Having those 2 guys not playing in this game, I think is going to make the difference. So the Chiefs will win this one, still remaining undefeated. And lastly, we already gave our picks here for the Bills and the Ravens. I'm going with the Bills for the main reason that I said that the Baltimore offensive line sort of worries me. I didn't like how they defended against the Chiefs defensive line. They kind of gave up a lot of pressure to Chris Jones, at least at the start. So Greg Rousseau, Von Miller, Ed Oliver, AJ Epinesa, those guys have really proven that they can get home to the quarterback just rushing those 4. And the Bills offense is really just clicking right now. I don't know who or what it's going to take for anybody to throw them off. The Ravens have great players on defense, but passing-wise, it hasn't looked as sticky, as lockdown-worthy, right, as years prior, right? So that way, I'm going to lean towards the Bills on the road to stay undefeated, and the Ravens will fall to 1-3, and that will do it for all the games on Sunday. We didn't get into the Monday games, obviously. That'll be for Monday when we preview those games, but that's everything on Sunday. Let me know what you guys think on any picks that you want to make or reacting to any of the choices that I made as well. But that'll be that segment. Now moving on to 2 of the last ones here. A very interesting comment by Justin Jefferson on Jair Alexander. The Minnesota Vikings will take on the Packers this week. That'll be the most interesting matchup in that game. We're going to go over what Justin Jefferson said, and also with these 2 teams being one of the best or 2 of the best in the NFC, what is going to be more of a determining factor? Is it going to be the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball for these 2 teams? We're going to answer that in just a few seconds. You're listening to the GSMC Chip Shot Football Podcast.